Morning came early over Jerusalem. The eastern wall caught the sun first, and light slid down into the courtyards like a blessing. Jesus walked into the temple area where people gathered to learn. He sat as teachers did, and the circle around him thickened. This was not a stadium moment. It was a class where the teacher knew names, where the air held the sound of sandals and the texture of questions. The quiet did not last. A group of religious experts pushed through the crowd with a woman at the center. Their robes spoke status, their faces spoke urgency, their hands spoke accusation. They set her in the middle where everyone could see. The charge was public and precise. This woman was caught in adultery in the act. The law of Moses commands that such a person be stoned. What do you say? Their words aimed at Jesus but landed on her. Shame has a way of using people as props. The case looked open and shut. There were witnesses, there was a text, there was a crowd that could be recruited into a sentence. But a trap hummed beneath the surface. If Jesus released her, he could be accused of disregarding scripture. If he condemned her, he would collide with Roman authority, which kept execution under their control, and he would betray the mercy that drew sinners to him. Their goal was not purity, it was leverage. They wanted to put the Galilean on a hook and make him choose which part of his reputation to lose. He bent down. He traced something in the dust with his finger. The temple stones saw words that the crowd could not. The experts pressed him. They did not come for a drawing lesson. They came for a verdict. He stood and spoke a single sentence. Let the one among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone. Then he knelt again and wrote. The ground became a page that absorbed accusation and offered no echo. A stone fell, then another. The sound was not loud, but it was final. Starting with the older ones, they left. Age often makes people honest about their failures. Youth often takes longer to learn. One by one, the room of condemners became a room of witnesses, and then even the witnesses left. Finally, Jesus and the woman stood there in a silence that felt like clean air after a storm. Where are they? Has no one condemned you? No one, Lord. Neither do I condemn you. Go, and from now on do not sin. Grace did not pretend there was no wound. It gave a future that did not have to repeat the past. The scene ended without a parade. It ended with a life redirected and a crowd sent home to consider what they had almost done. This is the frame of the story. To feel its weight, we need to slow down. We need to look at the angles that make it more than a courtroom drama and more than a private rescue. It is a window into the heart of Jesus and a mirror for our public lives. First, the setting matters. The temple is not a side street, it is a place of prayer and judgment. To drag someone here is to use holiness as a spotlight. Sin loves secrecy, accusation loves theatre. This contrast exposes motives. If restoration had been the goal, a different room would have been chosen. They chose the room that would best serve the trap. Second, notice who is missing. Adultery is not a solo act. The law required both parties. The absence of the man is not a footnote. It is a clue. Power often selects its targets. If justice is selective, it becomes spectacle. Jesus stands in that selectivity and refuses to endorse it. Third, see the body language. He bends, he writes, he delays the collision between rage and flesh. Delay is not indifference. It buys time for conscience to wake up. He does not answer their bad faith with bad faith. He answers with an action that slows the blood and reopens the mind. Many of our public conflicts need this kind of slowing, a refusal to match tempo with outrage. Fourth, consider his sentence. Without sin does not mean without history. It means without the kind of hypocrisy that weaponizes another's failure while hiding your own. He does not say there is no law. He says, take the law into your hands only if you are ready for the weight of perfect righteousness. That standard makes everyone quieter. Righteousness does not vanish. It is relocated into the care of the only one fit to carry it. Fifth, listen for the thud of stones. The sound measured a shift from prosecution to self-examination. Older men go first because memory is full in them. They remember compromises, vows broken quietly, glances that lingered too long. The younger leave later, not because they are pure, but because they are new at this kind of honesty. A society that cannot hear the stones fall cannot be healed. Sixth, watch the conversation after the crowd exits. Jesus calls her woman, a term he also used for his mother and for other women with dignity. He asks questions that return agency. Where are they? Has no one condemned you? The questions clean the stage of fear. They let her voice return. Many victims forget the sound of their own voice. Then he speaks forgiveness and a future. Neither do I condemn you. Go and do not sin anymore. He does not split mercy and truth. He marries them. Forgiveness without truth is sentimentality. Truth without forgiveness is a hammer. Jesus holds both, and the grip sets captives free. Seventh, learn the pattern for us. Many of us live inside a court of public opinion that never adjourns. The feed scrolls all day. A headline arrives. A name is dragged into the middle. We pick up our digital stones. This story stands between our hand and our throat. It asks us to pause and write in the dust for a minute. Ask questions about motive. Ask whether your anger is about their sin or about your hunger to belong to the loudest group in the room. Ask whether you have applied a different yardstick to your friend than to your enemy. Eighth, do not miss the courage of Jesus. He risks being read as soft on sin by the strict and as soft on justice by the wounded. He is not soft, he is exact. He defends a human from a mob and then defends that human from the past. He does not let the accusers define holiness. He authors a holiness that rescues and then reforms. Ninth, think about the woman after she left. The street felt different. The air did not claw. She still had to go home and live choices she had not expected to make. Forgiveness can be announced in a moment, and yet the path of restoration takes miles. Jesus gives her both the verdict and the map. You are not condemned. You are also not abandoned to repeat what crushed you. 10th, consider the whisper of speculation about what he wrote. The text does not tell us. That silence is a gift. It allows the emphasis to fall on the words he spoke and the stones that fell. Maybe he wrote texts from the law that included the absent man. Maybe he wrote the names of sins no one had the courage to confess. Maybe he wrote a line that had healed him in scripture. We do not know. We do know that the act of writing shifted the room from heat to light. 11th, take your place in the scene. Some days you are the woman exposed and afraid, hoping that your worst moment will not be your new name. Some days you are the crowd, sure of your rightness, blind to your own shadow. Some days you are an onlooker, not sure what to do with competing claims. The invitation is consistent. Stand near Jesus. He will protect the vulnerable and confront the violent, sometimes in the same person. He will give you a future that does not erase truth and does not weaponize it. 12th, remember that law and love meet in him. He is not an editor of Moses. He is the fulfillment of what the law intended. The law wanted life. It wanted a people that resembled the God who rescued them from slavery. When he refuses to let the trap dictate mercy, he is not breaking the law. He is releasing its heart into a house full of dust and fear. Let us pause for a brief moment. If this episode serves you or someone you love, please like, comment, share, and subscribe so the story can travel further to those who need it. Back to the courtyard. The crowd flickers out. The silence after conflict has a texture. You can hear breath again. You can hear sandals on stone. You can hear a future forming in a single person who thought she had none. Jesus does not provide a press release. He does not turn the moment into a campaign. He turns a life toward a different road. This posture challenges leaders. Do we create rooms where confession becomes possible without spectacle? Do we build communities where restoration is planned and guarded, not improvised and exploited? Do we refuse to buy the respect that comes from acting as if we are without sin? Integrity in this story looks like humility and courage held together. The trapmakers teach us something too. They used a true text with a false motive. Scripture can be wielded like a scalpel or like a sword, swung in a crowd. When you quote a verse, ask whether the author could stand beside your use of it and call it love and truth at once. If not, lay the verse down and return to the dust until your motive is clean. Some will ask, is Jesus saying that sin does not matter? He is saying the opposite. It matters enough to rescue a person before judgment devours her. It matters enough to direct her steps after rescue. Do not sin is not a threat. It is an invitation to live outside the trap that almost killed her. Grace changes the map. It redraws routes away from rooms that shrink you. Carry the scene into your week. When a scandal erupts at work, will you reach for stones or for a way to heal? When a family member fails, will you weaponize the rules or use them to protect and restore? When your own guilt shouts, will you run into the public square looking for a sentence? Or will you walk to the teacher who bends and writes and then stands and speaks better words than you deserve? Finally, consider.